That's right back, Charlie. Definitely.
There's always just that active when that defenders, I think, it's like.
Oh, are we live? People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. One love to the Twitch gang locked in. Good morning to those of you like myself in the UK. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Hope everyone's had a good week so far. Hope everyone's in good spirits and in good health. Hope everyone's moving that much closer to their goals, hopes, dreams, and aspirations, or trying their best to overcome hardship. And I wish you the best in that regards. As usual, it's a jam-packed day of content, people. Obviously, we've started the day off at 10 a.m. here. We go over to YouTube at 11:30. We come back over here at 3 p.m. to play a bit of Football Manager. So make sure you're setting your reminders and all of those sort of things. In fact, here's a link to YouTube. Cam, P, Mav, Josh, I see you lot in the comments and I appreciate that. Now, obviously, it's the international break, people. There's really all to talk about. It is a struggle. It is very hard. But nonetheless, you know, there is 1-2 bits and pieces and we can go over it. Obviously, you've probably seen Michael Edwards is stepping down from the Liverpool road. That's a man that actually is the reason they got Mohamed Salah ahead of Julian Brandt. Allegedly, Steven Gerrard has been announced, people. So there you have it. In fact, you know, that's an update. You know, you heard that Aston Villa had to pay around £3 million for Steven Gerrard. You heard, obviously, last night, is it Pusto? Him and Gerrard were in London. You know, Russell Martin's being linked to replace Gerrard at Rangers. Allegedly, it's done, really and truly. In fact, actually, it is done. He signed a 3-year deal, which, funny enough, I don't want to play devil's advocate, people, but 3-year deal. Klopp's contract ends in 2024. He's spoken about a sabbatical. Obviously, Gerrard's done the Liverpool under 18s, got his feet under the door, got his feet somewhat wet in the paddling pool when it comes to this managerial thing. Obviously, he's done bits at Rangers. There was a chance of probably retaining the title. He's foregone that because obviously, clearly, this Aston Villa job, for whatever reason, Steven Gerrard has said, is too much to turn down. Now, I think a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, you got the job too early and all of this stuff. And you might be right because, again, you know, he has got it. It's been quite the trajectory. But I do think people need to understand. I don't agree with it because I don't feel, you know, we could talk about minorities and all of these things and the unconscious bias and all these things that stop the equivalents of people that are Gerrard's age and trying to be managers make headwinds in their game. But I do think long gone are the days where a man might, rightly or wrongly, where a manager or a man might be coaching for 10 years in the Championship, 5 years in this league, and then he gets a smaller Premier League job and then that one, you know. I think them days are gone, and I think for Gerrard, you know, I can't begrudge him for turning down Aston Villa. It's a good project. I know it's not working out what's going on, but I really respect the way Aston Villa, for me anyways, gave clarity to their fans about how they were using the Grealish money when they made a decision, and they haven't, you know, it's not the worst of squads. I'm sure he was an ex-teammate of Danny Ings. I might be capping, but he's got Ings, he's got Bailey, you know. He's got players he can call upon, you know. McGinn, these are not bad players. They're just, obviously, it's probably the end of Dean Smith's cycle. There has been injuries, but yeah, it is what it is. And to be honest, he probably wants to move back to England. Again, the law of managing in the Premier League, it could be something that is just too much to too much to turn down. I think Gerrard's, when I look at Lampard, who's linked with Norwich, and obviously they're both midfielders, a lot of people find similarities. I don't think they're the same because at least Gerrard went away with Liverpool's under 18s. I can't lie, it's not the first Premier League job he's been offered. He's turned down a couple, so he thinks he's ready. A lot's happening for Gerrard, but I think Lampard got the Derby job off of doing nothing. Maybe it's his uncles and his cousins in the game. He got the Chelsea job off of doing nothing at Derby, and because of who he is as a a player, not really what he could offer Chelsea as a manager. Lo and behold, he failed. And, you know, again, without doing much, underperforming at Burnley, at Derby, underperforming at Chelsea, he's still being linked with a good job in the grand scheme of things within Norwich people. So, yeah, I think Gerrard, again, we don't know how it's going to turn out, but I think he's obviously got his feet wet with a couple of experiences. He's managed a great club in Rangers. He's leaving mid-season, so it must be something too hard to turn down. 3-year deal, it is what it is, people. And again, he's going to need to get to grips quickly. He's probably left Rangers and joined at the best time, as best as you can mid-season, because you have a week or just over a week, you know, from today, I'd assume, to train these boys, those who are not in the international period, to have a think, you know, to have just a conversation with these boys. And I'll be keen to see what Gerrard's like. Obviously, there's little bits and pieces you can see at Rangers, but when he's under the microscope in the Premier League, we're going to see exactly what he brings to the table. So Aston Villa have got a new manager, man. For what it's worth, though, again, let me actually, where's the article, man? Is it going to let me share screen? It should do. As you lot can see here, people, Steven Gerrard, again, Villa announced Steven Gerrard as head coach, not manager. Aston Villa Football Club is delighted to announce the appointment of Steven Gerrard as our new head coach. Gerrard guided Glasgow Rangers to the Premiership last season, finishing undefeated in the league. The 41-year-old has attracted many admirers in the game for his work in transforming the fortunes of the Glasgow Giants, while also implementing an attractive attacking style of football. So obviously there's a bag of things, you know, there's a bag of things wrong with Aston Villa currently, but it tells you indirectly what they were looking for. Clearly, you know, the fact that he's able to transform a club's fortunes is the primary reason, you know, implementing attractive attacking football, and considering the players they've got, Watkins, Ings, Bailey, Buendia, McGinn, these are guys that can play ball and guys that can therefore play a bit more attractive. It just seems like with Dean Smith, that's the end of the cycle, really. Maybe a new voice, a new managerial bounce can get them, you know, can get them firing and things like that. Obviously, we all know who Gerrard is as a player, but we barely know him as an ignorant Premier League fan, as a manager. We've seen bits and pieces at Rangers. He's won the division. He's clearly a good man manager. I actually like the way he's not. I don't want to praise someone for speaking about injustice, but maybe it's the Liverpool in him, but he calls a spade a spade. Like when it came to the racism thing, he openly said it. I don't think he sidestepped the questions. I really admire how he stuck by Glenn Kamara and all these players. Who knows? There'll probably be 1-2 Rangers players linked with Aston Villa. Like Glenn Kamara could get a move. You know, is it Morelos? He might get a move. I like the left back. He played against us. What's his face, man? Forgot the left back's name, but the black guy with the dreads. I think he's done his thing. You know, the CEO of Aston Villa said the board of Aston Villa are delighted to appoint Steven as our new head coach. Since moving into coaching after his illustrious playing career, Steven began by managing and developing top young talents in the Liverpool FC Academy, which experience we value highly at Aston Villa. And obviously, Villa have a number of young players. That's also something as well. He's worked in the academy. He's done quite well. They've got a number of young players chomping at the bit. You know, Cameron Archer, the Ramsey brothers. There's a lot of talents along those lines. So there's obviously that. So if you can play attractive football, develop 1 or 2 young players. I don't want to say keep Aston Villa in the league, but keep Aston Villa in the league, because everyone, you know, mathematically a lot is still possible if that is applicable to Aston Villa. He then took the brave decision to test himself in the intense and high-pressured environment of the Scottish old firm, gassing it a bit. His subsequent achievement in winning the Premiership title with Glasgow really caught our eyes, as did his experience in Europe. Not really the best of times in Europe. It's been very clear in our discussions with him that Steven's coaching ambitions, philosophy and values entirely match those of Aston Villa. We're excited he has agreed to lead us in the next phase of our ambitious plans as we look to build on the progress we've made since Nassif Saris, forgive me for mispronunciation, and Wes Edens took over in 2018. Gerrard said, Aston Villa is a club with a rich history and tradition in English football, and I am immensely proud to become its new head coach. In conversation with Neves, with Nassef, Wes, and the rest of the board, it was apparent how ambitious their plans are for the club, and I'm looking forward to helping them achieve their aims. And obviously, Aston Villa is a club that you'd expect, or you'd imagine their ambitions is trying to do what Leicester is doing, what West Ham currently are doing in the league, and being, you know, kind of shaking up the traditional top 4 to top 6. But right now, they need to rebuild. They need to find ways of playing. And I definitely agree with leaving on a high. It's better than, you know, hanging around like a bad smell. Obviously, there's never a good time. Is leaving a club to join another one mid-season the best thing? On one hand, you can't turn down opportunities. On the other hand, it might not be wise. So they have to have convinced him with something and whatnot. But again, when you look past the ambition and the nitty-gritty, boy, he's going to need to show something. But Steven Gerrard has been announced as Aston Villa gaffer. As you lot can see, people, make sure you're following and all of that, people. Steven Gerrard has also had to deal with 2 games a week while being in Europa. Facts. I swear he did the invincible thing up there too, which only means he didn't lose to Celtic, but still, Lampard to Rangers. I don't know. Lampard's been linked with Norwich and a couple of other jobs that he doesn't really deserve in my opinion. I think Lampard. I think Gerrard's more deserving of a top job than Lampard because not that I feel you have to do steps and stuff, but I just think there's a bit more competence with Gerrard. You know, Lampard ain't done no. I'm sure on occasion for Chelsea he managed their under 18s or led a coaching session, but Gerrard actually did up his under 18s. He played his position at Rangers. He did what he needed to do, and he's given himself a bit of experience, really. You know, with stuff. I don't think Lampard was ever equipped for stuff, really and truly. And when you got past the euphoria of what he was as a Chelsea player, he was never cut up to standards as a manager, people. So that's that where Steven Gerrard is announced. One love to you lot for keeping me up to date. I did have him on the timestamps to speak about, but I appreciate the fact that you lot kept me plugged in, man. I appreciate that. On that though, you might as well talk about Edwards leaving Liverpool. And I've said it before, Liverpool have a rebuild. You know, no one wants to speak about it. And what I mean by that is a lot of their players are there for the present. You know, Van Dijk, Alisson, especially being a keeper, Mo Salah, Mane, Firmino, these guys are not going, Fabinho, these guys are not going anywhere anytime soon. You know, they can play for a significant period of time. You know, I'm not saying that they're old and whatnot. I'm just saying they're players for the present. There's not necessarily in the next 5 years, Salah, 29, 30, 31, 32. What he can, if provided he signed a new deal, he could probably do it for about 4 years. But it's the succession planning. And I look at Liverpool, you're going to need succession planning. And I'm sure they've got it, but you've lost Edwards. You know, Edwards is, again, you know, someone that Jurgen Klopp doesn't always agree with, but values his opinion. For instance, you know, Klopp wanted Ronaldo to stay. There's a certain price, and you saw what happened. You know, Jurgen Klopp wanted Julian Brandt. My man champions for Mo Salah. Pretty, you know, who knows? Julian Brandt might have joined Liverpool and done the Mo Salah thing. I think not, but you never know. It's funny how the Salah one worked out. So again, you're losing someone who is, you know, helping with the succession planning. Jurgen Klopp probably, you know, if he completes his next 3 years, he would have been there 9 years, his longest tenure. Jurgen Klopp always talks about potentially stepping down and stepping away. So you could lose Edwards, you could lose Klopp. The players aren't going to be there forever. So I'm keen to see in the next few years how Liverpool rebuild. And they will sign a number of players. They do have Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones and Trent, as I would say, as the three. Jota's not the oldest. I would say these are the leaders of the potential new school, or could be potential leaders of a new school, people. And obviously you've heard Salah in relation to Salah's wages. Him and Liverpool appear to still be at loggerheads. Apparently he wants 400, 500k a week, and there's a certain price. On one hand, Salah's probably worth it in terms of what he would give Liverpool and stuff, but on the other hand, there's a price. And obviously, you know, you don't want to be kept with Salah when he's obviously a player on the decline. If you did give him a 4-year deal, obviously 500k a week's a lot of money, and not only could that mess up Liverpool's wage structure, that affects, not everyone's going to get 500k a week, but that affects potential renewals for other key players. Like, you know, I can't imagine there's going to be too many more contracts for Van Dijk, but, you know, Van Dijk the same, more so Trent Alexander-Arnold and the rest of them other Liverpool players as they advance and make their development. So it'd be interesting to see. But we've known since August, because we spoke about, because the Athletic said Edwards was stepping down. So I'm sure Liverpool and him have had the time to find a replacement. In fact, Julian Ward's been named as the replacement. And to be fair with you, they've got a good collective little project going on there. So that's what I'm saying. I'm keen to see what rebuild happens. But Liverpool sporting director Michael Edwards to step down in summer 2022. Julian Ward named as successor. And, you know, this, I think Edwards has got it all. He's a numbers man. He's been around coaches as well. You know, he's got the footballing brain as well. So he's not a dud, really. You know, privileged position with privileged folks. But nonetheless, Edwards has confirmed he'll step down from his position at the end of the season. He joined in 2011. So 10 years on, you know, where were Liverpool in 2011? Exactly. You know, he can leave with pride, really. He's being replaced by Julian Ward. You know, apparently FFG have reportedly made several unsuccessful attempts to persuade him to sign a new deal. He's been linked with Newcastle, probably not planning there. He's been linked with Newcastle, a couple of jobs in Germany, mind you. I don't know. When he wants to make a move, maybe he wants to chill out. I can imagine this is a very hands-on job. Maybe he wants to chill out with family. Maybe you know, he's someone you hear a lot about. He speaks about the need for change and things like that, and leaving before things become stagnant. Edward said 10 years, that's a pretty long time in anyone's life. In footballing terms, it is an error in itself, particularly at a club like Liverpool, where the expectations and standards are never anything other than as high as the supporters deserve. To be part of this club during this period has been a privilege due to the people I've been fortunate enough to work with and the success we have enjoyed. But all things must come to an end. And in my case, I've recently completed my final summer window as Liverpool sporting director. Can't say there was much of a legacy left there, but fair play. Even writing those words seem a bit surreal, yada, yada, yada. You know, he said, I always had planned to cap my time at the club to a maximum of 10 years. You know, and he's gone on to obviously say, look, I'm not going to bore you lot by reading it all, but yeah, and he gained a lot of plaudits from Jurgen Klopp. And again, you know, there's never just one man. He's simply just the face of it. There's a team, but primarily, you know, he's going to be best known for helping make money off the Solankis, the Brewsters, all of these, Jordan Ibe, all of these players being a, you know, I'd say his best signing is probably Mo Salah, because, you know, somehow of recent years, you know, if I think of Liverpool personally, I think of 3 players. I think of 4 players, maybe even 5. I think of Steven Gerrard, Fernando Torres, Xavi Alonso, Luis Suarez, and Mo Salah. Now there's other players, you know, Trent's one for me, but you know, I think Salah's your legacy, because in recent years, I didn't think they would be able to find a player as wavy or maybe even wavier than Suarez for them, and they did really. Alisson, you know, has been great, and so has Mane. You know, he's shown that he can pick up players. You know, everyone can see Mane's a quality player, more so Salah, but there was a time people would have turned up their nose to them players. I know eventually around the time Van Dijk got bought by Liverpool, people were rating him, but people haven't always accepted Van Dijk's a good centre half and one of the best in the Prem and all them things there. So, you know, that is as important as what Jurgen Klopp's able to get out of the coaching stuff. And I mean, for Arsenal, it's something to be jealous of, because as I've said, when you can see the evolution of Jurgen Klopp's team. For me, in particular, the game management. When he first came in, it was heavy metal, as he calls it, from start to finish. Obviously, they still do that, but there's a more element of game management of stuff like that. And there's been, for me, since he's come in, there was a real big emphasis on to improve defensively to a degree. And I've seen him coach that. Obviously, there's only so much you can get out of coaching, and you need to be able to coach quality players, but you need to be met with the bridge gap in which they've identified Alisson, they've identified Van Dijk, big money signings, and it's worked out. Now, Arsenal haven't paid that, well, we have, but we haven't paid Van Dijk's figures or Alisson figures of recent memory, apart from, you know, a certain Pepe. And as an Arsenal fan, I'm quite, not to get at Pepe, but I'm jealous because Liverpool have spent big money. 9 times out of 10, you know, it's been justified, really. I would say the only signing that's probably divided opinion and the jury's still out is probably Keita. He's a good player. He's had injuries. It's not really kicked on. He was starting to do his thing before his injury. So again, when Edwards, you know, if you have to spend money, make sure you get bang for your buck. If you have to sell, man, make sure you're getting it. Make sure the manager and whatnot work in tandem. I do think to a degree, Edwards and Klopp have overachieved for FSG specifically. And when you listen to Liverpool fans, they're very wary of that. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens in that regards. As I said, I'm keen to see the rebuild that they go through, man, in that regards, man. But what are you lot saying? You know, that was Gerrard and whatnot. Yo, DJ, any Wonder Kids to recommend? I type that in on Google, my guy. Van Dijk in Salah category for Liverpool legends. I can't ask Liverpool fans. I can't speak for Liverpool fans, but I would say probably in the same sort of club. But I would say Salah's up there. Like, I can't imagine Van Dijk's the same level as respectfully to him. We only got them from Edwards deciding to sell Coutinho. Well, again, that's it. Self-financing. If you ain't got P's, when you do get some money, make something happen. I know a lot of people say that wouldn't have happened if you got Coutinho. That is, if you didn't sell Coutinho. But it is really. I won't say Coutinho misses Liverpool, because I think he does. And I know it ain't worked out at Barca, but at the end of the day, you can't turn down Barcelona. He's played for Bayern Munich it's basically an accident, but he somehow won the Champions League. So everybody's a winner, really. You know, again, adapting, evolving, and I don't know if Liverpool are going to do it. And I don't want to. In fact, yeah, Coutinho was another talisman. Clearly not to the level, in my opinion, of Suarez and Salah. So it's not exactly the same, but maybe when again, Liverpool fans who can answer this, but maybe it was seen as a very brave decision to sell Coutinho, and I won't say doom and gloom, but potential doom and gloom. Maybe that's, you know, history's repeating itself, and there's a big decision to make with Mohamed Salah now. Like I said, I wouldn't want to sell Salah, you know, and to be honest, with the financial constructs and whatnot, I can't see who is going to buy him. And to be fair, I think if it became clear, I don't know what Liverpool would be on, but if it became clear Salah is leaving, me personally, I think he'll do what you're seeing happen in the game now in running down the deal. Now, I think Liverpool would want to get a transfer fee, clearly, bearing in mind they spent 34, 40 million on him. We need to remember they can still make that back. It'll be pennies. But yeah, it's a very interesting one, man. Salah and Van Dijk, mate. Salah and Van Dijk are just icings on top of the cake, really. I would say with Salah, it's great talent ID. Obviously, he went to Roma and he was finding his feet a bit. They pounced at the right time. You know, people used to turn up their. I wanted Mane at Arsenal, really and truly. I remember, listen, Mane. I'll always remember the Mane that had the F50 boots and stuff like that. I only wanted him truthfully because he always used to rip Arsenal. Like that's the only reason. And it's like people used to. I remember Van Gaal wanted him at United, and that drew criticism. So yeah, man, it's an interesting one still. They actually wasted half of Neymar's transfer on Coutinho. Or Barcelona's a madness. They've been getting swindled, man. Their wage structure is low enough to pay Salah what he wanted. You reckon 500, 400, 500 a week? I'm not sure. I think it can be done, but it has a knock-on effect. You know, I don't think Salah would slow down, but you open yourself up to that risk. And obviously, it complicates every other transfer renewal you want to do. It's like Haaland when he was allegedly going to Chelsea. You know, one reason is the knock-on effect, man. So yeah, man. Anyways, away from Liverpool, and he's been linked with Madrid. Bro, Madrid, Leipzig, Newcastle's new project. It must be nice, isn't it? It must be nice. But I'd assume, I don't know him from nowhere. But I'd assume, you know, if you've been, it's a high demanding role and you've been doing it for 10 years, and you know, you look at, again, I don't want to just give him credit because there's clearly a team, and even there's probably, with respect to them, nobodies or people that you as a Liverpool fan you'd walk past in the street, but they've been as pivotal to help him find Salah and the rebuild and all of these things. You see individuals in football teams, you never really see the teams when off the field. So I don't want to just give him credit for that, but when you've been part of something that, you know, when he started in 2011, it's fair to say it's quite developed. There's a lot of effort, and that's a very demanding, and you know, it's the demanding of you, it's demanding on your family life. It's very demanding. I can't understand just wanting to cool off for a second because, you know, he's been linked with Leipzig. That's going to take a lot of energy because, you know, the finances around working for them. Newcastle, that's going to take a lot of energy. It's more or less, it's, you know, wherever he started at Liverpool in 2011, they're significantly lower, you know, so that's going to take a lot of energy. Madrid's Madrid, you can't turn down Madrid, but that's going to take a lot of energy. They're trying to do the rebuild, so maybe he wants a couple of months, sit down, cool off, you know, take the kids on holiday, you know, pick them up from school. A lot of things that you might not necessarily be able to do when you're up and down, down and up all the time. But enough about Edwards, man. That's that where Edwards is concerned, people. What else have we got? So Salah wages. As I said, the key thing is they've, you know, when you know what you're doing, and what I mean by you know what you're doing, you've identified a player, the coach knows what he's talking about, then, you know, people can say what they want about Van Dijk. Now you can just see he's a quality player. I feel Salah is the best one season wonder ever, along probably with Harry Kane and Vardy. People just didn't really rate Mane. You see what he's on. I don't want to say people didn't rate Allison because he was decent, but they got it done in it. And there's probably a couple of exceptions to the rules here, there, and the third. And as I said, the only player of recent that I could say polarizes opinion for me where Liverpool are concerned is what's his face, Cater, and he's a quality player. It's just he don't think he's justified the price tag, but that's one. You look at some other clubs, you look at how many times has Chelsea got it wrong, how many times United got it wrong, how many times Arsenal got it wrong. Even if the players are not banging, that, you know, you ain't really got value for money. You could say well, you could say where Salah's concerned, Liverpool defo underpaid. I know hindsight and inflation and these things, but 30, 40 million, mad thing. I don't want to say they underpaid for Van Dijk, but it looks cheap, in it, really and truly. And there's plenty of other examples. Even a man like Yotta, he's looking fair enough. I forget he played for Wolves because he just looks like I've been at Liverpool my whole life, sort of thing. Even when they brought Van Alden, he was at Newcastle. Man, weren't really rating his thing like that. So yeah, anyways, away from that, we're waffling too much about a club I don't support. Arsenal getting for him. I mean, I would love him, but it's a myth, man. Would you say Liverpool had bare piano pushers? They've got a fair amount of piano pushers. Milner, Henderson, bit harsh on Fabinho, but they make it work. What I like about Liverpool, it's not a name brand thing, in my opinion. It's just man enough to do your job. Do you think there's this aura? I do think when you look at Klopp and Pep, I don't know why, and I know it's a bit different, but there's this rhetoric that Klopp never spent a penny rebuilding that squad, and I'm not criticizing anyone for spending, and I'm definitely not condoning Pep, but you get it. But away from all of that, is what it is. It will be a big miss for them. But yeah, away from that, what else we got to speak about where football's concerned, people? Let's 38. Oh shit. Sorry, folks. For the YouTube ones on the replay. As you know, I'm making timestamps for you guys. Let's have a couple of topics in one sort of thing. Where are we at here? Apparently, Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford's been awarded an MBE, for a campaign to end child poverty. Now, the one thing I would say, especially here in England, rather than help the man, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve his MBE, but you'd rather lavish praise on him. It's like the NHS, rather than patting up the NHS, give them the finances they want and stuff. The government or Tories or whatever will say clap for them and stuff. They deserve their clap, but you lot can actually help them. What's all these token gestures? And I find it a bit weird how again, how much money did it probably take to set up that ceremony where he's at Windsor Castle, where he's receiving this MBE? Again, I'm a bit ignorant on it, but how much does it physically cost to, to create one of them MBE medals? I'm pretty sure Rashford, rather than just giving him an MBE, why don't you just help him and do more? Because he's probably done a lot more. He's done a lot more than a lot of politicians for making, for food on people's table. I mean, Marcus Rashford is bigger than football in this sense. He's doing things that are bigger than football, and I respect it so much. Again, at 24 years of age, it's ridiculous, people. So yeah, shout out to him for getting an MBE. Whether there's a whole debate to be said whether he should accept these things and whatnot, but he's been awarded in it for his drive. And again, shout out to his mother as well. It must be a proud moment for his mother as well. Prince Williams had a conversation. I'm sorry, but you lot the royal family. I mean, you lot would rather praise a man that for trying to help feed the unfortunate, rather than your moral conscience to drop in again. But this country loves this sort of token gesture rather than help the people of Glenfell. These politicians and big cats would say let's clap for them and all of these sort of things, man. It's crazy, man. It's absolutely ridiculous. But away from that, though, people, big up to Marcus Rashford. Anyways, people, away from that, I'm sure you've all seen, and we spoke about it recently, the mad story where PSG's women's team is concerned. Aminata Diallo, PSG player, arrested as part of an investigation into an attack on teammates. Now, allegedly, long story short, she got her teammates, couple teammates attacked with some weapons and whatnot, probably due to the fact that she's not playing, people. The club of PSG have issued a statement, it is what it is. How are you going to do a Mazza? But apparently, a midfielder with PSG's women's team has been arrested by French police as part of an investigation into an attack on teammates on the 4th of November. She was arrested. Diallo, 26, was arrested Wednesday morning, which was yesterday. The France international had played in PSG's 4-0 win over Real Madrid in the Champions League. In a statement, the club said they were working with police to shed lights on the fact. They strongly condemned the violence committed, and the club also added they've taken all the necessary measures to guarantee the health, well-being and safety of players since the attack took place. Reports in France suggest that one assaulted player was Keira Hamori, who was allegedly dragged out of her car by two masked individuals who beat her legs. So again, you can see how graphic and how nasty and how unfortunate this sort of story is, people. One love to the Twitch gang. But if I open up my other tab, several PSG players had been threatened leading up to this attack, people. RMC Sport allegedly said that this had been a thing. Apparently, 2 security guards have been added, as I said, on top of certain threats being made. 2 security guards have been added for Kahira Hamori's, one at her home and one outside, people, which is crazy, people. And apparently, these 2 girls in question, the perpetrator and the victim, apparently they're girls, they're friends. They went on holiday together and all of these sort of things, people. Apparently, investigators linked Diallo after the PSG player indicated that they had received anonymous phone calls about Homori, which were traced back to an area around the prison in Lyon. A man close to Diallo is currently incarcerated in that same prison and has subsequently been taken into custody of the judiciary police as well. So yeah, man, that one day is just sounding absolutely brazy, people. Absolutely brazy. Away from that, though, I'm not sure if you lot know, but West Ham, the good times keep on rolling. Apparently, Czech billionaire Daniel Krasinski has completed a deal to own 27% of the football club. He's bought a 27% stake, and that adds together, that increases his footprint, not just in football, because he owns Sparta Prague, but where the UK is concerned, because he's got shares in big stakes, better yet, in Sainsbury's, in the Royal Mail, which, if you're not from the UK, is literally our mail, our postal service, and now West Ham. So that's obviously increased his footprint. And for whatever reason, let's see what could happen there, really and truly. And you're pretty sure there'll be some dodgy dealings between Prague and West Ham in relation to certain players, in my humble opinion. But it is what it is where that is concerned, folks. What else is there? We already spoke about Gerrard. That can get deleted there. So yeah, it is what it is there, people. PSG women team drama, Rashford or OBE, MBE, better yet, apologies. What else did we speak about? I think that was it for that timestamp, innit, people? One love to you lot tuned in. Let me see what you lot are saying. And again, people, don't forget, please go and hit the like button of my video at 11:30 on YouTube. Live Arsenal debate business, people. I'm going to speak about Tomiyasu and Odegaard in particular, people. That's passion and desire to play and be part of the starting 11. Suchek tax, PRO family, spare dodgy. Rashford is a political figure first, footballer second. Don't know how you got that. Last time I checked, you can do multiple things. Last time I checked, you're probably training from 9 a.m. till 1 p.m. There's enough hours in a day. Why can't, I'm pretty sure you like football and you have other stuff. Why can't he do other things? It doesn't make sense. I wouldn't say he's a footballer second. This is a man that's risked his health to be rushed back for England and Manchester United and delayed shoulder surgery. I'm not sure that there's any common sense to that comment. And I don't think, and even if he was going to be a political figure, he's a black male from Moss side first, a Manchester United player second. It doesn't matter how much money Rashford earns, no matter how much he climbs in society, he's always going to be reminded of who he is. This is why I like the fact that he hasn't forgotten where he's come from. He hasn't forgotten who he is. He hasn't forgotten the class he comes from, and he's always tried to give back. So I'm not too sure minority footballers can afford to just be footballers. They're pillars of society. Society mirrors football, and you've seen it when Rashford missed his penalty. You've seen it with the way people are treated every now and again. So let's refrain from silly comments. Question DG, who was the best 3 most influential players between Cesc Fabregas, Van Persie, Ozil, Aubameyang, Santi Cazorla, Sanchez, Ramsey, or Koscielny? Influential. Probably going to be biased to attacking players. I would say Van Persie, because we persisted with him for a while, but there was a real 3 years, 2 years at Arsenal, maybe 2 to 4 years. I would say 2 years at Arsenal, 1 year in particular at United, or maybe 2 years at Arsenal, his last 2, and then the 2 at United. So I would say Van Persie, because I've seen him literally be the difference between us getting top 4 or not. I would say Cesc Fabregas has got to be up there as well. And I would say Mesut Ozil, because, I think he's a very good footballer. But I would say it's a tie between Mesut Ozil, Santi Cazorla, and Alexis. They'd all have to be there. Koscielny and Ramsey are quite a level behind. But it'd be, like I said, I would probably say Van Persie, But then again, Alexis, you could, the way I describe influential is different. I've seen all of the players I've said they've all won games. The games have all run through them. They've all been influential. So I'd probably say, just for me, 'cause I remember Van Persie single-handedly getting us top four and single-handedly. Again, you didn't do it single-handedly, but he delivered United a title basically on his ones. I would say Van Persie, Cess level, Van Persie, Cess, Ozil, Santi, Alexis just below them. Ramsey, Koscielny significantly below, obviously, respectfully. The same people that can facilitate the NBA are the same ones that rejected the proposal in the first place. Exactly. Exactly. What else he looks in? Fab, do you know what? Because Fab was doing this as a youth, man. So I'd say him, man. Don't think that's true, but fair play. Man's entitled to other interests other than football, especially if he's helping their bro. Man always say focus on football, and then when football is done, what they're gonna do? Think about it logically. How often are you listen? Are you gonna think of football all day? I'm sure he's got friends, and they're not all lucky enough to be footballers. Rashford's very lucky. Society's helped him, but if he never made it as a footballer, or a black youth from Moss side, from a single parent household, not the richest, respectfully, the prospects aren't the strongest, really and truly. It's the same with Raheem Sterling. Man can't afford to just be footballers. And if they're living in a bubble, of course you get them man that look like them and come from what they come through. They just either don't give a shit, don't have the mental capacity to comment, or they just live in a bubble. But I like that, because once upon a time they were those individuals with a sign of no hope. So I don't know what's going on with that one there, man. And I think it's a privilege to tell other people to focus on football. And it's just not true, like that Rashford is a politician first, because he's not, like. And he'd be a better political figure than Bear, man. Trust me. But anyways, away from all of that, DG, would you give Wenger a director role at Arsenal to use his experience to support Arteta? We spoke about this yesterday. I wouldn't say a director role, but if there's an adversary role, like an advisory role, if that's the word, then I'm a non-consultancy basis. Yeah, man. I would say that, really. If I'm honest with you, I'd say something along those lines. What else? Apparently, Liverpool end investigation into alleged spitting incident in game against Manchester City. People, again, City made an official complaint to Liverpool following their 2-2 draw at Anfield last month, saying the incident occurred just after the away side's first equaliser. Apparently, it's understood the investigation concluded that nobody spat at a City member of staff as alleged. So yeah, man, that one there was put to bed for Liverpool and City fans there. What else have we got, people? What else have we got? I don't think there's anything else. So I think with that, we might as well get into some transfer stuff, people. If I'm completely honest with you, go through the transfer columns. Transfer rumors. Keep your opinions and whatnot coming, people. Don't feel any sort of way in doing such. Yeah, we spoke about Gerrard. We spoke about Gerrard slightly earlier. One love to everybody who was here. Obviously, apparently, Paul Pogba is aiming for Manchester United stay, but wants to overtake Cristiano Ronaldo as the Premier League's highest paid player. You mean to tell me, away from Paul Pogba and Man United, you mean to tell me that signing one player onto a big contract has knock-on effects for your others? Exactly like what could happen with Salah at Liverpool. So again, there's a lot to consider. I think Paul Pogba's bug. I think he deserves to be paid handsomely because it's Paul Pogba, but I'm not too sure if he wants to be the highest paid at Manchester United and in the league. And I don't think if he deserves such, not that it's my money. And I mean, every week you hear something with Pogba. 1 minute he wants to stay, then he wants Juventus, then he wants PSG, then he wants Madrid. And you're going to keep hearing that, really and truly. I'm pretty sure many United fans are probably over it. If he stays, he stays. If he goes, he goes. I personally think he's going to stay. He's just waiting to see what's going on. Maybe a new managerial change and things. But according to reports in France, he wants to renew his contract with United, but demands that he overtakes Ronaldo to become the Premier League's highest paid player. Pardon me. L'Equipe have said that Pogba has made no secret of his desire to extend his stay with United. However, Pogba is reportedly clear with his demand that he's made the highest paid player at the club and in the division. That means, Mino Raiola stands to earn a lot. Currently, Ronaldo's on 480k a week with Manchester United. Pogba is understood to be on 290. So we'll have to see what's going on there. And obviously, at this moment in time, Pogba has some sort of injury knock, so we'll have to see what's going on, people. In that regards. Away from that, what else is there? Apparently, in relation to Salah, the delay in an agreement on Mo Salah's new contract has been due to the difference in valuation between what Liverpool are prepared to pay the Egyptian to renew a deal that expires in the summer of 2023 and what Salah and his agent Rami Abbas are seeking. So Liverpool, eventually, they're going to have to make a decision. Do we let him run down his deal? Do we bite the bullet and probably pay more than we should? Or do we move him on and see what we can do in that regards? Only Liverpool can tell you what's going on. We've spoken about Paul Pogba. Apparently, Raheem Sterling could be considered for a loan move to Barcelona in January, people, which we've heard before. Apparently, Newcastle are eyeing a move for Rabiot. Apparently, it's believed Juventus would be willing to sell him for about 12.8 million, people, which could be decent if they're on that. Apparently, Conte has asked for Gareth Bale to be signed in January, people, which he's just working his way back to fitness. I'm not too sure if there's sense in that. In fact, you've also seen Spurs allegedly, Conte has demanded to sign Kessié, people. And apparently because of the Conte factor, that he looks set to go there. Sam Johnson, free transfer potentially from West Brom, the England international. Apparently he's wanted by West Ham and Southampton, which could probably offer him more first team football than Arsenal. I wouldn't mind him coming and being a second choice keeper under Ramsdale. And obviously the homegrown factor. As you know, West Ham bidded 6 million for him last season, and it didn't work out for them really in relation to grabbing him. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure he wants to play Premier League football. He's probably one of the only West Brom footballers at the time who probably deserves such people. So it's going to be interesting to see. Oh, if you don't know already, Declan Rice is out of the England squad due to illness as well. Bernardo Silva's picked up an injury in a qualifier for Portugal. Don't know what that means, but for him, but it is what it is. In relation to, let me refresh this page as well and get the latest. Everton and Newcastle are interested in signing Juventus and Wales midfielder Aaron Ramsey. Boy, Manchester United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in January, which is crazy. Apparently, Eddie Howe wants Kieran Trippier. As you know, Xavi's been announced as Barcelona manager, and apparently he's keen on Dani Alves to return and be part of this setup in a coaching perspective as well, people. Brendan Rodgers is still the favourite to replace Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as Manchester United boss. Liverpool are interested in Gerrard Bowen, but will not make a move from him in January, and they saw firsthand what he potentially could do. United are hoping to beat Chelsea to the signing of Jules Koundé, the 22-year-old French and Sevilla centre-back. Apparently, despite his new injury, Dembele is in line for a new contract still with Barcelona. Shevchenko wants to raid his former club Chelsea to sign United States winger and obviously Chelsea player Pulisic. What else have we got? Apparently, West Ham would reject bids as high as 100 million for England midfielder Declan Rice. Boy, I don't know what's going on there. Apparently, Newcastle have entered talks with the representatives of Bayern Munich and Germany central defender Nicolas Soule. Apparently, Gladbach are considering a January bid for Eddie Nketiah as well, which, again, we need that. And because we're going to talk about that at 11:30. See, you find content somehow, people, when you're not looking. Let me scroll further down there. I think I've scrolled too far. No, that's it. Let's go on some other transfer sites as well. See what's going on there, man. Is there nothing else with Arsenal? No Arsenal, nothing. No Kareem Adin, no, nothing. I know I'm dream chasing, folks, man. The dream is free. We're allowed such, man. Mahrez could leave City in January. Don't know if I believe that, really. Apparently Ferran. Paul Torres and Alma on Xavi's shopping list at Barcelona. Don't they need to sell before they can buy? Once again, Gerrard's been announced as the new Aston Villa gaffer, and he's taking his pictures and them things there. Apparently, Roma are ready to make a bid for Aaron Ramsey, people, which is funny. Tuchemani could cost 50 million euros, which I think is worth it. Apparently, Real Madrid are interested in this January swoop for Ndidi. Don't think he's good enough on the ball for them. Apparently, George Mendes is trying to engineer his client Fabio Carvalho and move from Fulham to Liverpool. Harvey Elliott inspired, I guess. Dean Henderson is looking to leave Manchester United. Apparently, he's no longer prepared to act as David De Gea's deputy, but accepts he can't leave in January, which is crazy. So, yeah, that's that, people. I can't say there's more, man. Conde's bit overrated, harsh. Pogba's decision to stay isn't related to money at all. He's getting bread wherever he goes. He wants to win. I would say is Man United the best sporting project, and I would say regardless of if he stays, goes. I mean, at his age, no matter how you shape it, money is something to consider. Would you take Zachariah in a free? Yeah, but I'm not as hyped about him as I used to be, if that makes sense. Henderson's on 140k, player United. I don't think that's the worst. I don't think he's ruining anything. BG, who's the best? Please rank in order. Leno, Ramsdale, Martinez. Current form, Ramsdale first, Martinez second, Leno third. I mean, if you asked me a year ago, I probably would have said Ramsdale first, Leno second. I mean, Martinez third, Leno second, Ramsdale third, sorry. So if you asked me a year ago, Martinez, Leno, Ramsdale. But at the same time, I might have even said to you, the only one I probably would have kept the same is probably Martinez. I might have even said to you Leno last because I've been on Leno's case. So yeah, I would say for me, anyways, Ramsdale, Martinez, Leno. I think what I like about Martinez and Ramsdale, they do the same thing. They collect crosses, they try play passes, but they know what they can and can't do. They try to catch rather than punch. I think they both ooze calmness to their defense. Leno can at sometimes doesn't do that. Would you loan out Martinelli or Balogun in January? More Balogun, but yeah, why not? Oli said he would build a team around Paul Pogba. What a fraud. Where did he say that, boy? And plus, boy, I mean, that's why you shouldn't listen to anything Oli Solskjaer says, isn't it? Which is a bit crazy. Let me see if I've missed out any comments as well, because I see a couple of things were up there, things and stuff. Stuff and things. And as I said, make sure you're all here at 11:30 today, people, and subscribe with Amazon Prime for free to support the channel. Man said he's definitely gone in relation to Pogba, in relation to the spitting. Carragher must have been in the stand. I haven't got it to hand, people, but I also saw today that apparently some Italian stations, or a Italian station, due to the way Jose Mourinho's conducted himself, they're banning his interviews. So it's lovely to see Jose Mourinho in top form over there in Italy. As usual, man. What a guy. Are you getting the new FM22? I mean, where have you been? I'm playing there. I want to see you manage a mid-table team in the British Premier League like Everton or Villa next, maybe, but we've got a lot of work to do with Arsenal. And again, check out the schedule because we're playing Football Manager today. I waffle about it a lot, so can't imagine you don't know. But yeah, shout out to you regardless. Obviously, people, as I said, 11:30. Please make sure you're here. Well, I say here, make sure you're there on YouTube, people. Because it's content. We've only got 3 likes, bro. You man are doing the guy dirty. What's all that about, man? But it is what it is. So yeah, in relation to the transfer news, there actually isn't anything really and truly going on. Like it's quite the dream seller, folks. Quite the dream seller. Bro, Toxic Marine back at it, and I love it. I love every bit of it, man. I love every bit of it, especially when Jose Mourinho's he's got nothing to do with you. Toxic Marine back at it again. I mean, you need it, man. You need it for the culture. In a day and age where there's not enough villains, bro, Jose's a villain, man. We need that. We need villains. There's too much nice guys where football's concerned, and the nice guys end up finishing last, man. I don't actually think Jose's a nice guy. He just doesn't let no one take him for a pussy, if that makes sense. Obviously, tomorrow I'm hoping Smith Rowe can make his debut against Albania. Probably dream chasing. More likely to make his debut against San Marino. That's where I think Ramsdale gets his first thing, man. He'll be at a mid-table club soon once he's sacked. Bro, must be talking about Jose. Can't be talking about DG. Like I never just won FA Cup and rebuilding it. I got third in FA Cup. DG, would you sign for Arsenal right now? Right now, today, Karim Adeyemi, if I could. Hossam Aouar / Bruno Gomares, if I could. Yeah, I'll talk to Kessie about a free transfer if I could. I'd be looking for a right back. Ain't got a name for you. Be looking for a right back. Yeah, I would say that really, if I'm honest with you. So hopefully that answers your question. Really, that's I'm trying to think. No, I think I'd go with that. I think I'm happy with the choice I made. Rangers have issued a club statement in relation to Gerrard as well, people. Now that he's gone, um, apparently they've said Rangers not well. They've thanked him and stuff, and they say the biggest praise I would say for him is now Rangers now has an outstanding, highly competitive playing squad which is capable of both winning and entertaining on all fronts, with the highest of standards now also prevalent throughout the football department. And obviously, Rangers have qualified for the group stage for 4 successive seasons and knockout football in the last 2. So yeah, Gerrard's not an idiot. Like, he comes into this with some solid experience and whatnot. Would you take Van der Beek? Yeah. Oh, they said Aouar was rubbish. He's got his mojo back. He's doing his thing. For me, obviously, it's the output, but I just like the way Aouar's a man. Like, let's just say, boom, everyone here, we're playing on the same team. We're playing the next team. Like, it's going shaky. Like, we're not, we need something in it. He's the sort of man to say, all right, cool, I'm gonna make the difference maker. Give me the ball, we make something happen. I don't think that's always been the case at other places or with every other individual. So yeah, man. I think I answered that. I would take Van der Beek. I'd slap him in that pivot, to be fair with you. See what he can do next to Partey. If I'm completely honest with you, I'd be trying that. I think Arsenal got too many similar players. I think I want Kessie and he's different. I'm not saying Kessie, Lokonga, Partey, Basuma. Arsenal fans even want Ndidi. They want Torreira back as well. All these guys are the same sort of. They're all different, of course. Some got more expansive passing than others, but they're all too similar. We need a bit more guys that are creative. Lamptey right back. I mean, I can't see us shelling out 50, 60, however much on Lamptey with priorities elsewhere when we've just got Tomiyasu. We're going to speak about Tomiyasu at 11:30, so make sure you're all there, man, as well. Last question. As players, Gerrard, Lampard or Scholes, DG, which one would you want in our midfield? Scholes first? Well, it depends. I want them for different things. I think this debate is always, I think Scholes is better than both of them, but I think people talk like them man are scrubs. I think if I want a I'm not saying no one's not a midfield maestro, but I'd say Scholes for how I want to play, and as an Arsenal fan, how I want to play, I'd say Scholes. Talisman, clutch, I'll give it to Gerrard. And obviously all of them can do a lot of what I'm giving these guys individual points. They've all got a bit of it, but I just feel Lampard, especially in today's day and age, bro, there's not too many goal scoring midfielders, and I think Lampard's got that, really, really and truly. I think I'm not comparing him, but who's probably the closest you're probably getting to Lampard in today's day and age is probably in the Prem, probably what, a Bruno Fernandes. Like, how many goal scoring midfielders are there? And I think definitely where Arsenal is, there's an issue. Lampard would provide goals in it. I don't know if we'd be balanced. I think we need people who can conduct a game. I think Scholes and Lampard, there's probably 2 aspects Arsenal are missing: a man that can be a progressive midfielder and conduct the game, and a man that can score goals and do them sort of things and whatnot. And then obviously Gerrard can do a lot of that as well. Gerrard's Mr. Clutch, fantastic. Things are going wrong. I'll take them all really and truly, but if I had to pick, I'd say Scholes first. Then the other 2 are joint second, if I'm honest with you. Scholes better footballer. Techie, Gerrard will lift the rest of the team. That's it, yeah, and he'll lift it, man. I don't think Lokonga will have a future at Arsenal, specifically as a deep lying playmaker, bro. He's a 6. You're going to have to be able to pass the ball forward, but I don't think that's the case. Guendouzi could be an answer, but I don't think he is the answer. And yeah, it's not looking like it's going to happen. Gerrard's leadership skills, exactly. Clutch, talisman, tough moments. Someone that will galvanize the club. Someone that, even though he'd have nothing to do with Arsenal, from that perspective, you'd look at him and say he's probably one of the only guys, similar to what we say with Ramsdale and Tierney now, that kind of get what we're on or what we're trying to do and the rest of it, people. So it's probably one of them ones, if I'm completely honest. So it's something to consider in that regards. Oh, yeah, something to consider in that regard. Sorry, I had to fling in the charger, people. Lampard is just going to bang no matter what. We need a leader like Gerrard right now. And yeah, Scholes is a wavy baller, as simple as that. On that note, though, people, I'm going to love and leave you lot and get out of here purely just because, you know, I've got to go live at 11:30. So yeah, please make sure you're all there. In fact, I don't want to leave you lot, man. I don't want to I'm picking Skulls. Last question, man. Last question. I don't want to leave you lot. You know what they say when you've got a free hit versus team which is favorites, underdogs win. It's not even a question. Is what it is, man. He might let it slip. But other than that, I mean, Arsenal are known for bottling, isn't it? So he'd probably be right at home, bro. This club's got a fetish for DMs, bro, or box to box midfielders. Like, but we need some more expansive, progressive players, man. But yeah, it is what it is. On that note, though, people, gonna love and leave you. It's been a fantastic morning here on Twitch. Make sure you're following and subscribing. If you haven't, follow and subscribe on Twitch. Make sure you're doing the same thing on YouTube. Again, we're here at 10. We go over to YouTube at 11:30. I'll be back at 3 p.m. to play Football Manager forever, as long as we're there for. And then obviously tomorrow, it's another 10 a.m. business. I think there's Q&A that might change, but I think that is in the schedule. Make sure you're checking out your schedules and obviously making sure you set your reminders, people. Without you lot, yeah, it ain't a thing. Hey, don't watch that, man. Pre it at playback as well, man. You know, again, shout all the 9 to 5ers, all the grinders and the rest of it, man. You lot make the DG Nation what it is. Our journey to 10K Twitch subs continues, people. We're flirting with 3,000. So yeah, 7,000 and some change to go, man. Let's go. On that note, though, peace. I'm out.
Because always is that active red light, suspended. I think it's like.